everyone, so welcome to vlog number 11. Basically I'm going to touch on the Grand Fury images and the article about them, and then touch on David's artwork as well. And then the next vlog I'm going to talk about the podcast and the second half of Close to the Knives. So basically, what I really thought was interesting, especially in the Grand Fury images, is that, it's so important, what these pieces of art actually expressed. And they expressed ideas that were not, not necessarily common knowledge, but also not, a communal exception of the situation that was at hand. And one of them that just really stood out to me, being a young woman and just being, a woman in general, was that, here I made a note, let me read. So it says, women don't get AIDS, they just die from it. Because at that point in time, it wasn't, an accepted thought that women did get AIDS. It was, most people believed that only men could get AIDS and only men suffered from the disease of AIDS. And, being a woman and hearing that, it's kind of well, we're at just as much of a risk as anyone else is. And I think that, after reading the article and everything about it, I think that, these different things are so important to remember and so important to learn about and express, that these are still reoccurring problems and these are still things that we go through today. And I think that the artwork was an incredible outlet to really express those ideas and those thoughts that, people may not just understand reading an article, and people may just brush over in everyday life. And then moving on to David's artwork, I just his artwork really spoke to me in a lot of different ways. I thought it was just as expressive as his writing, and I thought it was even more impactful when I found out that a lot of it was based off of himself. And I think that, it was really cool to find out that the image of him, or the image of the boy, was an image of him. And, after reading his stories and his little notes and different things, I found that his artwork was just as wordy and it was just as developed as his writing was, and it had just as much expression as his writing did, even though, it was just an image. And I think, when people say a picture's worth 1,000 words, it really, really is. And I found that with both the Grand Fury collection and David's artwork, was that all of these, looking at them, no matter who you are, you're going to have 1,000 questions, 1,000 words, 1,000 thoughts about what you're looking at. And, it's almost one of those things where with his artwork and the Grand Fury collection, you kind of need to look at them more than one time to really understand them. And I found that with, a lot of artwork, being in an art museum and stuff, really being able to understand artwork is, really being able to sit with it and let it resonate with you as a person. And I also find that a lot, through learning music. The more I sit with a piece of music, the more I understand it. So I'm, really looking forward to going back and looking at these images once I finish this class and, once I finish reading, because I think it's going to have, such a bigger impact on me than it already has.